building a team behind you which allows you to let go without having to worry, and I think is a true essence of a leader. Hello and welcome to Up Close and Personal, powered by Invoke. I'm joined by Rhea, who's going to interview me today.
Yes, thank you so much, Nikunj sir. I'm going to quickly introduce you before we begin. Nikunj sir started off as an engineer from IIT Bombay, but is now an entrepreneur and supports initiatives across healthcare, livelihood, and education through his philanthropic endeavors. He has been a long-time mentor to many CSOs in India, and we're very excited to have him here today with us. Welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for introducing me.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like to start by asking you the one question, and I want to know, I'm sure you've been asked this a million times, but what does leadership mean to you?
Letting go. I think building a team behind you,
Right.
which allows you to let go without having to worry and you sleep well at night,
Yeah.
I think is a true essence of a leader.
Yeah.
So that it's not all about the leader, it's all about the team. And once you build that, I think that's a great way to go.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about, you've described leadership, and for a long time in India, we've been working exclusively with teachers and children in infrastructure as the development sector or education. We're now starting to shift towards collectively working on education leadership. Mm-hmm. What role do you think working in education leadership has to play in accelerating the impact of our work? Why is it important?
So I think it's education leadership across all levels. It's starting from the state, from the center, down to education leadership at classroom level, not only by the teacher, but by even the students.
Right.
So I think, when you start having students taking leads and starting doing stuff,
right.
When you have the district officers taking lead and doing stuff, I think there's leadership at multiple levels which needs to be done, and that's what will, when we can get to that level, I think magic is going to happen. Yeah. So I think we're getting there, but there's yet some stuff on the way.
We are getting there, and there is definitely some stuff to figure out along the way. I agree with you. And that is something that involves or will need a lot of people coming together. Right? There's no one solution that anybody has right now in the sector to solve for this. So collective action. Tell me more about what makes you invested in collective action like that?
I think for me, when I started my philanthropy journey, it was all about what can I touch, feel, who I'm working with. But then when I started working with multiple CSOs, you start seeing, somebody's doing this, doing something similar. And then when you start thinking I'm a Guju, and Gujus all want to count their money and see largest impact for their buck. Right? So how do you get that? Is when you actually get 2, 3, 5 organizations sharing, working together, and hopefully 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is not equal to 4, is equal to 10. And I think that's the reason why collective action is so important to me.
Right.
That get people to work together and then exponential reach.
Right.
And not, I will do 10, you will do 10, and we'll do 10 in isolation. Yeah. So I think that's why I'm as invested as I am in collective action and collaboration. Yeah.
Fantastic. You're here today to support a movement in collective action, ShikshaLokam. And we talk about similar themes in all our invocades. How important do you think it is to bring people together to discuss like this? It takes a lot of time away from work to come to these conventions and talk and share your work, but why is it important?
I mean, even for me today, I was just walking around and looking at all the different non-profits. Though I support some of them anyway, but there were some which I had never worked with.
Right.
And I'm saying, but now, when I was talking, I said, why are you not talking to this person? Why can't the two of you work together instead? Right. Maybe in different geographies, but you're doing the same thing. And I think that's why these kind of things are so important, is when people actually step back. When you run a corporate business,
right.
The thing which we used to always do was like a leadership retreat, where you step back, not worry about day-to-day stuff, and focus on strategy.
Right.
I think these kind of places actually create that space to think of how we can take our organization forward, how we can take the movement forward. And that's why this is actually very, very important. That's why I invested my time to come from Bombay to be here for this one.
We're grateful to have you here.
It's a pleasure.
while we're on the subject, tell us what you're looking forward to at Invoked 4.0 next year.
I want, instead of having one organization presenting, I want 5 organizations presenting together on a movement which they've come together with
Right.
and have started saying, I took this from so-and-so, I took this from so-and-so,
Right.
and together we are doing this in some other place. So to me, that would be the true power of everybody coming together, this movement coming together,
Yeah.
and then spreading itself as well.
So you're
That's what I
talking.
was-
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I want to see, yeah.
You're talking a lot about collective action and the power it has to improve efficiency. But it's a challenging process, bringing a lot of different people with maybe slightly different visions to come together and arrive to one conclusion about this is what we're going to work on, this is how we're going to approach it. So, although many people might want to do collective action or work in partnerships with others to achieve that one holistic outcome for a child, it's still challenging. Do you have any tips for any of our viewers today?
So it is very challenging, but I think when you're inspired by the same, the end goal is the same. And one of the biggest reasons why CSOs don't work together is they're very worried about mera paisa somebody else will take away. And we don't want that to happen. So I think the funding ecosystem, the state ecosystem,
Right.
if they start pushing
Right.
that we want you all to work together and come up with something, automatically that pressure goes away from the organization.
Yeah.
And then they actually want to work together, but they just have worried about a few things. So I think if we remove those bottlenecks of saying, don't worry about the money, don't worry about who will get credibility, who will get the creds for this whole thing, I think automatically things will work.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk about tech.
Okay.
You are an engineer. So I would want your perspective on what role do you think tech has to play today as it exists in solving the education crisis as it exists today?
So I think tech is a highly overrated kind of thing. I'm a techie, I have a software company, so yeah, I would love everybody to embrace tech. It just makes that much more business for us.
Right.
But I think people are starting to think that we can use tech to solve the world's problems, or we can solve the educational problem by just tech.
Right.
I think we need to start thinking of tech as an enabler, but with people on the ground actually delivering that tech.
Right.
It can't be just, okay, here's an app, figure it out yourself. Nah, that's not going to work.
Right.
You need people to be able to explain. Children are not going to look at a phone and agree that this is the way to do things.
Right.
They need some form of facilitation. They need some form of working with collaborative work to be done, and that cannot happen by just a tech situation. I mean, though we tried it in COVID, we know, no? Why is everybody back at work? Same thinking. You're back on the ground in offices. For what reason? Because tech only gets you so far. At the end of it, it's people,
Right.
and we have to have that in place. So yeah, it's there, but it's not the holy grail.
Got it. Thanks for sharing that. I'm going to now move us to our last segment,
Okay.
which is a rapid fire.
Okay.
Do I need to tell you what a rapid fire is?
Nah, I'm familiar with
I'm
that.
going to throw some fun questions at you,
Okay.
and you have little to no time to answer.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Done.
Okay. If you were to be a superhero, what would be your superpower?
Saying no.
Coffee or tea?
Me.
Morning person or night owl?
Present moment.
What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
Talking to you.
Oh, okay. If you could master any skill instantly, what would it be?
Sleep.
Okay. Beaches or mountains?
Beaches.
Beaches or forests?
Forests.
Would you rather fly or have super strength?
Fly.
Would you like to travel to the past or the future?
I love to stay in the present.
Okay. My last question is your one hope for education in India.
To me, the biggest thing is, can we get all children, and I mean all, it's the privileged, the non-privileged, everybody having a similar kind of education. So I'm very inspired by, I was at another event sometime back, and there was this kid who came from tribal Madhya Pradesh, and he stood up and said, why are we treated different? Why do we have to get a different type of education?
Right.
we should get the same, and I want to get the same education as what people are getting in Delhi,
Right.
what people are getting in Bombay. And I think that is my hope, that we give and provide the same quality and type of education to everybody, and all children in India, so that they eventually thrive.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving us your time.
My
Would you like to close as well?
Sure, and this is a wrap.
This is a wrap.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.